I used to spend some nights with my grandfather, Antonio. He came over from Italy at 16 by himself.
My father's family, he came as a young man. His older brother came first, Alfonso Cacci.
My father's father, my grandfather, he came in 1900. He left Sicily. He left my father, his two sisters, and his wife back in Sicily.
My father was the youngest. He wound up in Buffalo with two of his brothers.
My grandfather was a sulfur miner. His father was a sulfur miner. Probably realizing that that was his, going to be his cup of tea for the rest of his life, he decided to come to America. My mom would tell me stories as a young girl, running through the neighborhood and seeing a movie for the first time. Not actually by going into the movie house, but by standing by the swinging doors, and as people would come in and out, they would catch a glimpse of the movie, and they stay there all day to get kind of excited to watch a movie.
My grandmother was born in the States, but my grandfather came over, and he was in a bed and breakfast in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and my grandmother's cousin, I believe, was running it. She owned it, and she called my grandmother and was like, there's an extremely handsome guy here that you need to meet. So she came to Niagara Falls, Ontario, and they met and they hit it off, and she ended up sponsoring him to get his American citizenship.
My grandfather worked here for 6 years until 1906. He saved enough money at that time then to send for the family, and then they came. So my father did not see his father from the time he was 3 years old till he was 9 years old.
My grandfather has just told me all his life, he saw the importance of work, but he fell in love with American baseball. And that's what he did growing up. And everybody on the west side, all the Italians his age, still remember little Johnny Mecca from hitting a home run over Offerman Stadium.
My grandfather, Antonio, didn't speak the language. He ended up shining shoes, selling newspapers, cleaning houses. He ended up owning 10 houses and barely spoke English. And he did that through very hard work and keeping the family together.
To see how a lot of them, and I never realized myself, how they came to this country, including my father and grandparents, how they were able to even survive, not knowing the language. My father spoke broken English right until he died. And my grandfather used to drive a bicycle from west side of Buffalo to the Bethlehem Steel. My father never had an education. At 14, 15, he used to deliver groceries. Never worked for anybody. Most of my life I've been in the restaurant business. My father opened up restaurants, not speaking the English. No money, he would open.
Italian Americans have made tremendous contributions to the growth and development of our community. Whether it's in medicine or education or business, Italian Americans have given much to make and enrich that quality of life here in Buffalo, New York.
And I said to myself, boy, I complain? How can anybody complain? Listening to how they came here. Some of them are very successful.
My grandfather, Antonio's grandson, he didn't speak English, but worked his tail off, the American dream was his grandson became the mayor of the city of Buffalo, which I'm tremendously honored. And I want to make sure that future generations understand the people who gave so much, who made this community what it is. They have role models, they have mentors, they can understand more about who they are when they understand better their past.
I like to tell the next generation to don't forget your roots. Remember, we've only been here just a little over 100 years. Those people that came years ago to dig the ditches in the street and lay the tracks for the streetcars, their children now are the contractors that are rebuilding Buffalo. Those people that came here 100 years ago and couldn't find a job, their grandchildren now are doctors and lawyers. They came with a purpose, and I think that we've reached that purpose.